X-Men 97 is out in full on Disney Plus, 10 episodes around 30 minutes each. It's an animated show from Marvel, but not set in the main Marvel Cinematic Universe, instead being a direct continuation of the classic 1990s X-Men cartoon that ran for 5 seasons between 1992 and 1997, hence the title, as it picks up where we left off. The voice cast is largely back, the intro music, which is hype as fuck, is back. The animation has been wonderfully updated to still have a very similar style, but look modern, and actually it is actually quite impressive instead of, being the low budget choppy old one. But the true hero of the new show is the writing. So I've actually rewatched the entire run of the old show last year in preparation and to sort of refresh my memory, because if you just asked me, I would have told you from memory that this was an amazing cartoon without a single flaw. And sure, as a kid it was fantastic, but seeing it as an adult years later, you see all the flaws and limitations, and also the ways in which it aged. It was written and constructed in a way that would make it suitable for audiences as young as 7 years old. So no blood, no character deaths, no guns with bullets, resulting in ridiculous things like vaguely Eastern European police officers having laser weapons. And while some of the storylines attempted a shot at maturity, most of them were fairly simple, streamlined, and kid-friendly, kid-oriented. So I thought, the new show would be nostalgia bait, and maybe they'd update it a little bit, but I never expected it to be anything other than a short, nice trip down memory lane. Well, color me fucking shocked, because the show turned out to be among the best Marvel properties ever made. I would honestly put it in the top tier category with Winter Soldier, Infinity War, and the Netflix version of Daredevil. It's that good. And as I already alluded to, the main reason is writing. The show manages to do the unthinkable, which is that it seems to have grown up with its audience. The storylines and themes are super mature. They're fascinating examinations of discrimination, racism, persecution, extremism, idealism versus pragmatism. Kind of like in the source comic books. It really is stunning how well it's all executed. The writing is superb, the dialogue is superb. It's also worth noting that the show stays true to the sort of themes of the comic books and the specific storylines where it needs to, but changes slightly wherever it makes sense, making it a really well thought out adaptation. There are real stakes, real emotions, particularly midway through the season with Gambit and Genosha. I think that was episode 5, and it was just spectacular. I also want to point out that the show has a very wide ensemble of characters, and yet manages to do most of them justice. They each get a moment or a chance to shine, but I'm not even talking about the fight scenes. I'm talking about their presence in the story, their motivations and actions and dialogue. For instance, I love the way the show handles Cyclops, especially compared to the movies. The conflict between Professor X and Magneto is fascinating as always, and Magneto himself is great as a character, and the sort of direction they've taken him. I thought the love triangle between him and Gambit and Rogue was kind of a risky move to attempt, but the show executes that very well. Storm has a great arc. Jubilee and Sunspot have a great little side storyline. And then you have the action, which is also phenomenal, partly due to the updated animation, but which looks really good, but partly also because of the clever ways that all these superpowers are showcased, and particularly how well the characters work together to combine their powers. There are things here which I don't think have been done before, either in the movies or in the old cartoon, and some of those scenes really keep you on the edge of your seat. So again, I expected a nice little nostalgia trip, and that I'd quickly forget again. Instead, I got one of the most adult, mature, well-written superhero properties ever. It's remarkable how well they pulled it off, and I would be very excited for season 2, which is already confirmed, if it wasn't for one crucial detail. Just days before the season premiere, the showrunner, Bo DeMaio, was fired from Disney. His official X-Men Twitter account has been disabled, he was let go without a public reason, And to this day, we still don't really know why that happened. It's pretty obvious that it wasn't quality control. The show is great, and even if Disney wasn't sure about that, you typically don't fire the main creative right before his work is published. You do it after it gets negative reviews. So speculation is that DeMaio was maybe difficult to work with, maybe abusive, maybe there was some harassment. It's all speculation. Nobody knows for sure. And it's not for me to say if Disney had a good reason or if it's another James Gunn situation. Maybe they are 100% justified in firing DeMaio. But regardless, he was the showrunner and the head writer of this show. So the question remains whether anyone can pick it up and continue with the same level of quality in terms of the writing, with the same vision. I hope the answer is yes, because I really hope so, because now after the first season, my expectations have skyrocketed and I cannot wait for more. We'll have to see what awaits in the second season, more great stuff or some disappointment. What I do know for now is that season 1 is fantastic.